Thank you for listening to the TTalks.net podcast, the show that brings you information, guidance, and support to entrepreneur-minded individuals like yourself. TTalks.net will give you something to talk about tomorrow. This isn't the daily show, but this is the show where you'll get everything. You'll get a fiesta of a mix with the old and the new. They will give you tips and insights into everyday business, big wins in everyday life. They have a lot to add, from bookkeeping to sales, sales management, and sales training, and daily content for listeners to learn and enjoy. We are here to improve your life and business or sales career. Without any further ado, introducing the dynamic duo, Alex DeLuca and Rafael Rodriguez Jr.
Dun, dun, dun. Good evening. How are we? My name's Alex DeLuca, and welcome back once again to T Talks. I'm live from Naples, Florida. Joining me is...
This is Rafael from Hollywood, Florida.
Hollywood. We are back. We are live, and we're in action, making things happen, huh?
That's it. One day at a time.
How was your day on the grind today? Anything new, special? What's going on?
Nothing much. Just we consummated a couple sales, close to $30,000 in sales.
There you go.
So not bad for a couple rookies.
Not bad for a couple rookies. Hats off to that, my friend.
That's right. So absolutely, and you never want to be in in court regarding anything. I was called in as a witness for some work orders for a big client. So it shows you that some of the minor details in the process that we do, we have to make sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's, because from not having a date stamp on the photos to not having great record keeping, it's hard to kind of relive and try to tell others what happened 6 months ago or 7 months ago.
And, we talk about that all the time. How are you going to track it? What makes it easier to track it? And what was the fact, putting a product, a PO number on everything. Everything that you do, transactions that take place, they take place for a specific job, and that's how it should be broken down. And you're talking to the guy that runs the remotebookkeepers.com, guys, where his I's and T's and X's are extremely slashed and ready to go. But you're talking to the numbers man himself.
Well, what happens is that when you're been in the credit management or you're being in the accounting world, and you kind of have to keep your books as if you're going to get sued. And as horrible as it sounds, it's always better to prepare for the worst and expect the best. Not that I'm a great, the green creeper or whatever you want to call it. But what happens is that, you never know what could happen. And salespeople have a tendency of being a little sloppy, which is okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the reason why there's a shoemaker. That's why there's an airplane maker. The shoe guy probably cannot make an airplane, and the airplane guy cannot make a shoe.
And that comes with you're going into surgery. You want your surgeon or your dentist making the calls.
Absolutely. So, with that said, you definitely want to make sure that you are kind of crossing your T's and dotting your I's. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today, because there's still plenty of time. We deal with a lot of independent contractors. We deal with a lot of 1099s. We deal with a lot of people that are afraid to do their taxes because they think they owe money. They've been under the radar for many years because they just don't know how to approach going back and creating their tax return. And I think it was important that at one point or another we actually bring it up. And I know we wanted to talk about another thing about sales, but with the opportunity, how many times in your lifetime do you think you're going to get free money?
Not too many, man. And are we talking about free money or money that you have to pay back at a lower percentage, or
This
what the
is
PPP? It goes both ways.
no, this is free money, literally free money. This is money that people are applying. There are certain things that you need to do, but this money is money that you can keep, pay off your rent, pay yourself, pay light bills, and if you're a 1099 and you're able to go ahead and receive money based on the actual 1099 number. So this is not based on your profit because a lot of times most of the 1099 people, when you do your tax return, you're looking to go ahead and bring that number. If you made $100,000, you're trying to get it as low as possible, if not zero, so you don't have to pay because, and let's face it, who wants to pay their fair share? I don't think there's anybody out there that's going to say, you know what, I want to pay, even Warren Buffett is like, I want to pay the fair share, but he has, thousands of attorneys, tax attorneys, CPAs looking at the tax code and saying, what can I do to offset my tax liability? I mean, that's just reality. Unfortunately, we don't have the same resources as the mom and pop and me myself
Yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
to
Yeah.
go ahead and hire 10 top CPAs and tax attorneys to tell me, hey, how do you think I can write off? I made $100,000 last year. How can I write it off? Or I made 200,000 or 300,000. Whatever that dollar amount is, how can I minimize my liability? What are the things that I can do today? What are the things that I can do tomorrow to minimize that liability?
I'm glad you just brought it. What can you do today and what can you do tomorrow? And that, all goes about planning on what you do with your money once you get it, whether it's investing in certain areas to kind of make it full circle when it is time to do the taxes, you put your money in the right spot.
No, absolutely. And there are things that that you can prepare. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about a couple stories is that I have a client of mine that they have a limited liability company. They pay themselves every so often, and that payment goes in as a 1099 for them. So they actually issue a 1099 at the end of the year for that amount. In this case, it was close to $52,000. Well, what that $52,000 did, and they made plenty of money on the company, and the company gave them a K1 because it is a limited liability company. Well, this individual was able to go ahead and get a PPP under the Schedule C, under the $52,000 that she got paid from the company.
So how much was she able to get?
She got close to $10,000. $10,000 that basically is free money.
It's pretty nice, huh?
And think about it. Sometimes we, under normal circumstances, in your mind, you don't necessarily, the company didn't qualify for a PPP. The reason why the company didn't qualify for a PPP was because it did not have employees. All they have is independent contractors. They're all 1099. So most of the individuals had to go ahead and file, and most of them on the initial rounds that came out, most of them, they really either made very little money or close to nothing, because that's just how 1099 kind of works. Is that if you're an Uber driver or if you're a Dash driver, at that Schedule C, it's going to look pretty ugly because just the miles alone, you're able to kind of offset the fare that you're actually getting. And the depreciation on that vehicle, because you are putting a lot of miles into that. So even if you made $60,000, if I do your tax return, you're going to end up, probably losing around, $2, $3, $4, $5,000 negative. Now, if you were in a negative, like I said before, you couldn't get a PPP. So now, if you made $60,000, now you divide it by 12, multiply by 2.5. Well, guess what? Now you just got $12,000.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
And one of the things that there are several companies that are still they're very, very streamlined. BlueAcorn.io is one of them, or Blue Acorn. Just look for it for PPP. They're not sponsoring us. They're not doing.
We're not making any money.
We're not getting any money from them. The only and I actually referred many of my clients over to them. And so people know is that
Giving a nice shout out.
they actually have done wonders for a lot of my clients, and they've been very quickly to process those PPP. And the lowest one they processed was close to $1,800. Now this person did Uber for maybe 3 or 4 months last year. So it just shows you, and they actually process, because during the first round, if you didn't have more than $5,000, a lot of people didn't want to touch it. Because keep in mind, and this is on the banking side, either I process $100,000 or process $1 million, I got to do the same paperwork.
Same exact form.
Same exact paperwork. Same exact process.
When we talk about investing, shout out to the Triumph Property Investment Group. We go over the conversations 100 times. What's the difference asking for $5,000 or 500,000? It's the same sentence.
Pretty much. So, the whole process is taking anywhere between 7 to 10 days. If you have
That's a
not
quick
done
turnaround time for free money.
Yeah. So, and if you're afraid to do your tax return, this is the time to jump on it and try to get caught up before May 31st, which is the time that they extended the PPP. Okay. So.
And please reach out, everybody, to the remotebookkeepers.com to, for any of your questions to be answered.
Absolutely. And, we're not afraid to tackle those difficult returns where we are having to recreate books, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, recreating books from bank statements. Of course, there is a cost associated. The more that you're able to do and help, the better it is for everybody, because we want to help individuals, as much as we can. And if I can tell you, hey, look, do me this favor and just break down each month what you think you spend and just keep it in a spreadsheet. This is not going to come easy, because you're trying to come up with paperwork that should have been done, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
And that happens. And after you do work with us, there's a game plan that can be put in place. So you don't have to worry about this down the road. Keeping track, QuickBooks, it works wonders. Just let me say that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and we could probably talk a whole hour when it comes to QuickBooks, but all you got to do is on QuickBooks, tie in your bank account, your credit card. Try to minimize your accounting nightmare by having maybe one credit card, 2 credit cards, and a bank account. And do me a favor, if you're out there and you're listening and you're running your own business, try to have a separate account for your business. That credit card, anything that has to do with business, your personal account is your personal account. If you want to transfer money from your business account to your personal account and then pay your stuff, pay your personal stuff. It will make life easier for you. And a lot of people are missing out on free money because, again, just not setting up a system that helps them, record keeping their books. And one of the things that you got to understand is that, if you're driving a car and you don't check the oil, you don't check the fuel, you don't check the air, there's going to be a point that you're going to break down. There's going to be a point that, you can keep pushing, and you really don't know which way to go. And that's a position you don't want to be. You want to be able to get on the driver's seat. You know where you're at. You know your gauges. You know you did an oil change. You know you checked your tires. You know you're good to go for 4,000 miles.
Good to go, checking it, making sure you're on top of it and on point. Just some quick stats as we're talking. Loans approved were upwards of $8 million and upwards of $734 billion lended. It's a lot of money.
Well, there's a lot of money out there.
5,400 total lenders.
Well, and I want to caution everybody is that even though the deadline has been extended to May 31st, one of the things that transpired on the first round was that a lot of these big companies, big banks, big organizations, they just sucked up the PPP like there was no tomorrow. I mean, and the good thing that the administration did on the second go around was that they said, you know what, let's make sure that they changed the guidelines from the Schedule C. Instead of being your line 31, your net profit now is based on your gross revenue or your net revenue. Because I mean, someone up there understood that if you're an independent contractor, and you're a driver, you're a salesperson, there's an expense that you're going to try to expense as much as you can. And, just on vehicle alone and your home office, you can literally deduct 20-30% of your income easily.
Right there. Easily.
Right there, boom. 30%
Boom.
out the door.
Boom, boom.
30
Gone.
to 40%.
Whew. It's facts, Jack.
That is a fact, Jack. So, and a lot of people missed out on last year. They missed out because they didn't have their books in order. We had a lot of people that came to us trying to put things in order, and it's difficult when you're against the wall and you're having to prepare documents and put documents together, and trying to do it in a very quick fashion without having all the details. You're trying to fill in the gap, and a lot of times, that gap, even though the owner of the company doesn't even know. I will tell you that one thing that's extremely important, and I'm going to say it probably twice. So if you're a business owner and you're collecting sales tax, do me a favor. Don't play with that money. That money belongs to the state, and you have to religiously get that money to the state on the 19th of the month. I don't care if it's raining, the internet went out, it doesn't matter. Please do that because, we have business owners that come to us, and I'm just going to say this real quick. If you don't pay it and they reach out and you don't respond, they will issue a warrant for you.
Whew.
This is how big this is. So if
that's why a lot of times, just when we do the credit card taxes every time.
Well, you gotta be careful. If you collect tax, that means that you're now an agent for the state, and if you don't report that money, guess what that's considered?
Theft.
That is considered theft. And they can actually prosecute you, and they can put you in jail. Now, typically,
that's the facts, Jack.
That is a fact. Same thing if you're paying payroll and you're deducting and you're not submitting, you're stealing money from the government. And I tell you that it gets pretty ugly because they can come in and they can seize everything. And, a lot of times when they call us, sometimes it's a little bit too late. We try to negotiate, but what can we tell? What can we tell the federal agency or the state that you collected the money, but you were having a difficult time paying your bills and you dipped into their money.
Oof.
That doesn't work too well. So the moral of the story
Not your
is that,
money.
you know, part of the reason why some of the business owners we have found out is that it has to do with record keeping. Um, so the PPP, we have till May 31st to go ahead and get that application in. There's so much money available for you out there, especially just look at your tax return. Last year, the year before, see if you have a Schedule C. If you have a Schedule C, that means that you possibly could get the PPP. So there are some criterias. Your last year, your 2019 compared to your 2020, it has to be 25% less as a bare minimum. If it's less, then you're good. If it's more, you don't qualify. So if you make, and most people made less money in 2020 than they did in 2019 due to the fact that COVID was around. So if you were a salesperson, you probably weren't, if you did it over the phone, a lot of people weren't buying. So 9 out of 10 people, you probably will qualify if you compare one with the other. Any questions for me, Alex? Well, I know I'm on the road now, but
No, you're on a roll, and this is your realm, brother, and you are giving some impactful information. We talk about this all the time, but for all the listeners out there, hope you really paid attention to this one. There is, PPP money out there for you to take advantage of to help your business, to help yourself. And we're here to help anything, any which way direction. We talk about business, we talk about life, we give tips, insights, and you got a top notch man in Rafael Rodriguez with all the accounting bookkeeping needs.
well, and I will caution you that one of the things that they were looking at under the PPP or any loan that is issued by the SBA is that if you have a prior felony, you will not get the PPP. If you have a prior felony, you're not going to get an SBA loan. Um, they did exclude for the second round that as long as you didn't commit fraud and you did have a felony in your record, that they will still get you the money. So even if you have a felony on the second round, they're allowing business owners to go ahead and receive that money. That was actually a good thing. A couple people that I know, they're in landscaping. They're that people make mistakes, and unfortunately the SBA, uh, looks at that, and they did include some changes on the second round to allow people that committed a crime, they paid for their crime, and now they're clear that they're able to go ahead and receive the much needed funds.
Awesome. Take advantage of it.
Um, and to really show you how easy it is to waive the PPP, okay? And it's as simple as follow. Whatever money you get, you divide that by 8, and you make sure that every week, whatever that number that you divided by 8 for, you pay yourself. You write a check. Remember I said make sure you have your business account, then your personal account. On that Friday or that Monday, whatever your payday or whatever day you're trying to do, you try to do that transfer. Make sure that every Friday or every Monday or every Wednesday that you go ahead and transfer that money into your personal account as payment to yourself. That's all you have to show, that you paid yourself. There is a certain breakdown that you're able to go ahead and do, which is as simple as 60%, 60% needs to be paid to you, and the rest could be paid towards utility, rent, debt, working capital. I mean, the list kind of goes on and on and on. But to make it easier, to make sure that you don't have to pay this particular loan back, the easiest way to do it is just take that number, divide it by 8, and pay yourself that amount on a weekly basis. The money's going to be there once they transfer. So, don't go too crazy. Just make sure you just pay yourself. If you're trying to pay off some loans or pay off whatever you're trying to pay off, if you got $8,000, that means that you're getting $1,000 each week. And if your loan is for $2,000 that you got to pay, then just wait 2 weeks. An extra 2 weeks is not going to kill you. Get that $2,000 into your bank account, then go ahead and send that payment. If it's $3,000, wait 3 weeks, then send the $3,000. It's not that complicated.
Not that complicated.
It's not. And I think the moral of the story is that a lot of people miss opportunity because of record keeping. That's basically what it boils down to. And in business, we gotta wear different hats. And there's some hats that we're gonna wear much better than others. But sometimes that's where you got to pay somebody else to wear the hat. That's the reason why they're salespeople. They're 1099. These are the guys. Rome was not built in one day, and it was not built by one person. It takes a tribe to make things happen.
Well said.
And hopefully you have either the digital domain company and your tribe. You have the Triumph Solution, Total Source Network. And your tribe helping you and just be a resource for you, that all you got to do is pick up the phone and say, hey, can you help me with this? Hey, can you help me with that? It's not that complicated. And one of the things that makes it easier is that we're cost effective. We're not trying to get rich out of one customer, because that's that doesn't go not too well.
We have the best deals out there, Ralph. We need to put our contact information on the Facebook page. Our website is still under development right now. It will be coming soon, but definitely reach out, call us, email us, message us. We're here to help any which way we can. We're coming on live. That 30 minutes of Raphael giving you the breakdown on the tax, the PPP information, putting you in the straight lane for success, ladies and gentlemen.
And you know what? Create a plan, execute the plan, reap your plan, and then just redo it over again.
Do it, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, that's T-Talks. The 30th. We made it. 2021. Next up is April, baby.
No, we got one more day.
Oh, we got one more day. 31 days in March. Oh, man.
Yes, there's 31 days in March.
It's a money month.
Anything else you want to comment, bring up, talk about? Guys, tax returns. Don't be afraid.
Do your taxes.
Well, the one thing that actually happened last year is that anybody that owes more than $50,000, you're not allowed to fly.
Wow.
That's one. Number two, if you have received 1099s that total up more than $100,000, for the last 2 years, they've been looking at individuals that have gotten 1099s, and they have not done their tax return.
Oof, they're looking for them.
If they reported more than $100,000 under your name, they are looking for you. Little by little, they'll find you. So if you think that you're getting away now, and anybody that didn't file tax return on 2019, 2020, you just missed out on the stimulus checks that were sent out if you made less than 75,000 and 136,000. So you missed out on some money that was just given out for free. So, just report it. Just report it. Have somebody help you. If or just try to read the instructions and try to follow it along. But just do it. You got to do it one day. And
Gotta do it one day. Thank you, Ralph, for all that lovely information today.
Thank you for tuning in to ttalks.net. If you have any questions, comments, or something you want us to talk about, email us at raphael@ttalks.net or comment below. Please follow us on YouTube at ttalksnet and Facebook at ttalksnet. Please rate us and don't forget that sharing is caring. Thank you for your support. Till next time, we will T-Talk later.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again. My name is Alex DeLuke. I'm signing off from Naples, Florida.
And this is Raphael from Hollywood saying good night, good day, and adios.
Adios. We'll T-Talk to you next time.